was responsible for the Quantum Love Energy Pictures. Today, I am going to take some time and explain to you how I started developing these Quantum Love Energy images, and I'm going to explain a little bit just on how to use them. My journey in this unique field started many years ago when my mother got sick. She was taken to ICU with congestive heart failure due to pneumonia, and she was in ICU. She had been there, she lives in Missouri, and she had been there a few days. I got on the bus, got there to the hospital, and I saw that she was in a great deal of pain in ICU. At that time, I didn't know what to do. I had a background in biology. My mother was a zoologist, PhD. She had trained me in classical science and biology. I had a degree in chemistry and water engineering. But I talked to the doctor and I told him, my mother's in a great deal of pain. What can you do? And he looked me in the eye and said, I have a pill for everything. And at that time, when I looked in his eye, I realized that he was trying to do everything he could in order to save my mother. But unfortunately, that was not enough. So I took matters into my own hands and started doing what I knew how to do, which was research, looking into some way to help her. The traditional medicine was not going to be enough in order to save her life. I started coming across a number of examples of prayer healing, energy medicine, Reiki, and from these different, research that I was coming across, I realized that there was could be another answer to her healing. I started studying sacred geometry, Reiki healing, and I understood from on a higher level that this was the same energy that I tapped into as a martial artist. So as a martial artist, I had learned how to break bricks with my hand and summon my chi. And this same type of energy was a universal force that could be used for healing, or it could be used for negative, violence. So I tapped into this. I already had an understanding of what chi and ki was, and I learned how to manipulate the ki using sacred geometry symbols. And that's when I started developing my Quantum Love Energy Pictures. After I did some initial tests, I brought some of the pictures to my mother, and she had what's in her medical records as a miraculous recovery. The doctor said they had never seen anything like it. So I realized that I had really tapped into something. One of the more interesting things that I had discovered was the power of the platonic solids and the pyramid, especially. I realized that pyramids had a great deal of power that they could generate, and just by making a pyramid out of clay, you could generate that power, or you could make it out of toothpicks. You could generate the power. You could actually just draw it on a piece of paper and it would generate that power. And I figured out that I could draw it on the computer and make that power. Once I tapped into that and that understanding that the platonic solids are universal, even on the computer, whether they're on paper, whether we build them in 3 dimensions, or if I even make them 3-dimensional in my mind, they still have a great deal of power, and they generate that power. So once I had that understanding, I was able to generate 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional sacred geometry images that tune into the higher level frequency of love. And this is the most powerful healing force that I've found in the universe. So tapping into this universal force of love, God's love, love of humanity, love of all things, white light, love, the purest love in all of the universe, tapping into all of these things and focusing them into these sacred geometry images. Many people call them almost like talismans. I was able to heal my mother and give her a miraculous recovery. Also, when she was recovering, the doctor came into the room, and I had the sacred geometry images underneath her, and he did a muscle test to see how she was feeling. She held her arm out, and he said, "Wow, you're really strong." And my mom's response was, "Are you sure you're not weak?" And I saw, in a real life situation, that these energy pictures were able to increase her physical strength. She had cataracts, and she was able to read the lowest, the second to the bottom line on the eye chart, and then halfway through the bottom line of the other chart. And this is all with cataracts. So I saw immediate improvements in my mom, and it was very impressive, and it actually saved her life. So that's the start of my journey on developing the quantum love energy pictures. I have thousands of pictures. I've been releasing a picture or two every year for probably about the past 10 years here, and these have really changed a lot of people's lives, and it's been a very exciting journey on developing these quantum love energy pictures. If you have any questions about my technology, or if you're interested in purchasing any of my pictures, please contact me, and I'll be glad to help you. Thank you. Bye-bye.